These are Hale and Eloisa. They're some of the best Filipino health researchers out there, and they've done one great research. The problem is, they couldn't put their study into better use, so it has only been kept in the library for quite some time now. But that shouldn't be the case, should it? Any health-related study should be used by everyone for the greater good. Create innovative products and services that will improve everyone's lives. And that's what Hale and Eloisa want. But where should they start? This is where Monique steps in. Monique is a program officer of the Philippine Council for Health Research and Development, or PCHRD. PCHRD offers several programs under its Intellectual Property and Technology Management, or IPTM. And with the help of Monique, Hale and Eloisa can realize the full potential of their research through each of these programs. One is the IPTM Capacity Building Programs. Hale and Eloisa conducted their research through a research and development institution. This research is funded by PCHRD. But it's also important that they are equipped with the necessary skills to properly protect, utilize, and commercialize the health technologies generated by their research. So Monique tells Hale and Eloisa to participate in PCHRD's capacity building services on topics such as intellectual property and technology transfer. Activities conducted in the past are seminars on the basics of intellectual property, technology readiness level and investment readiness level, technology transfer and accounting for startups, trainings on IP and commercialization, DOST IP policies, patent licensing and technology transfer, advanced IP valuation, and conferences on proposal development. So how can researchers like Hale and Eloisa participate in PCHRD's capacity building activities? For one, invitations may be sent to target participants through email. For specific training requests, stakeholders may suggest and send topics to the IPTM or the PCHRD email addresses. There are also capacity building activities that are open to the public. Just check the DOST PCHRD social media accounts for the list of capacity building activities being offered. Among the necessary skills that Hale and Eloisa need to develop is protecting their intellectual property. This will prevent others from benefiting from their research output without their consent. This will also help them commercialize their research. This is where the IPROTEC program comes in. IPROTEC stands for Intellectual Property Protection and Management of Health Research Outputs. Among the assistance offered under IPROTEC are the development of an intellectual property or IP policy for your research and development institution, establishment of institutional technology transfer processes, securing IP protection through the filing of patent, utility model, PCT, NPE, trademark, industrial design, and copyright applications, securing IP valuation and freedom to operate or FDO reports for your health innovations prior to commercialization, and assistance in drafting licensing agreements. For Hale and Eloisa to avail of grant or assistance under the program, here's what they need to do. First, submit a non-R&D proposal using DOST Form 3 with a corresponding line item budget using DOST Form 4. The proposal should have these attachments: a letter of request signed by the agency head, a work plan stipulated using DOST Form 5, curriculum vitae of the project leader, and a brief description of the team composition and each staff member's role in the project. For IP protection requests, there is also need for a copy of duly signed and notarized memorandum of agreement with a corresponding line item budget of the research project where the technology to be protected was generated, a copy of duly signed and notarized research agreement, a copy of duly signed and notarized research collaboration agreement if any, accomplished invention disclosure form, and/or PCT or NPE questionnaire, whichever is applicable, a business plan for each technology, publications or any public disclosures made pertaining to the technology, and a list of technologies that will be protected with corresponding project titles where the technology was generated and their respective funding agencies. Next step is to create a proponent account at the DOST PCHRD's Project Management System portal. Just click on the Register button and fill in all the required fields. An activation email will be sent to you upon successful registration. Once a proponent account has been created, you may already submit or upload your proposal to the portal. Just click on Submit a new proposal, then Start Submission. Fill in all required fields, and don't forget to upload all required attachments. You will then receive a tracking number for the proposal you uploaded. Get updated on the status of your proposal by clicking on the Track button. Input the tracking number that was provided to you and click on Search. Just some reminders before starting your application for an iProtect service. Only PCHRD monitored or funded health innovations may be accepted. You cannot use project funds to pay for IP application fees of non-health technologies and technologies that are not generated through DOST and PCHRD funds. Proposals may include requests for 2 or more IP-related services. Project duration is limited to 12 months or 1 year. An extension may be requested if the reason is acceptable. The project fund is also capped at 5 million pesos. Any fund requests more than that amount may still be approved subject to further evaluation. Project reports and deliverables should also be submitted promptly. And charging of expense items under equipment outlay is not allowed. Another way for Hale and Eloisa to further have their healthcare innovation utilized is through community adoption or the creation of spin-off companies. And that's what the Techie in Health program is for. It has 2 kinds of Techie hubs. Community-based Techie hubs, where communities implement innovations in healthcare delivery. These hubs offer entrepreneurship mentoring, documentation of best practices, legal counseling, business development and marketing assistance, and introduction to networks. Then there are institution-based Techie hubs, where institutions validate, incubate, and nurture health innovation ideas until they are ready for adoption by end users. These hubs offer customer discovery assistance, rapid prototyping and testing, clinical testing, business plan or business model canvas preparation, advisory and regulatory procedures, entrepreneurial training, legal counseling, space rental, and introduction to networks. As long as you are an institution or health researchers who have outputs from PCHRD-funded and monitored projects, and these projects have a potential for IP protection and commercialization, then you are qualified like Hale and Eloisa to avail of these programs. What if researchers like Hale and Eloisa want to apply for Techie hubs? Researchers may send a message to IPTM or PCHRD's email addresses, or follow PCHRD in social media for event notifications. Hale and Eloisa's newly established company can also get financial assistance from PCHRD through the Startup Research Grant Program or SGP. But not all startups may avail of this grant. It must first be registered with the Securities and Exchange Commission or SEC. It must have 1 or more products and/or service related to health. At least 60% Filipino-owned. Must be in operation for at least 1 year and a maximum of 3 years. The project leader must be Filipino. Must show capability to conduct research and development. has legal personality to issue receipt, does not have any outstanding accountabilities or ongoing project with DOST, and has no pending administrative or criminal cases. If your startup qualifies for a grant, then here are the steps for the application process. You must submit a capsule proposal for initial screening. Here are the information needed. Project title. Proposed project duration, which should be a maximum of 1 year. Name of project leader. Company name, address, and contact details. Cooperating agencies, if any. And a project plan containing the problem statement, objectives, proposed research activity, methodology, target accomplishments, expected outputs, etc. For the required attachments, you need to have budgetary requirements capped at 3 million pesos, background of the startup, proofs of eligibility, disclosure of other businesses, if any, and curriculum vitae of the project leader. Both the capsule proposal and the required attachments should be submitted for feedback and evaluation. All you need to do is send them via email. Once deemed eligible, the researcher may now submit a full-blown proposal. Hale and Aloysa's capsule proposal for their startup has just been approved, and they're now in the process of submitting a full-blown proposal. Their proposal is detailed under DOST Form 2, the project line item budget under DOST Form 4, the work plan under DOST Form 5. It also includes curriculum vitae of the project leader, and sworn affidavits from startup owners and others involved that they are not related to any DOST officer authorized to process the grant and release of funds. Once Hale and Aloysa's health innovation gets more developed, they can now start meeting with potential investors and partners. For this stage, they can join IPTM's FRIME program. FRIME stands for Philippine Health Research Innovations Matching Event. It serves as a platform for innovators and adopters like Hale and Aloysa to initiate discussions and interactions on the possible research collaborations and business partnerships. Target participants for FRIME include researchers, technology transfer officers, technology licensing offices, and industries. So how can Hale and Aloysa join this matching event? Invitations are usually sent to target participants through email. But if you are also interested to join, you may send a message to IPTM via email or follow PCHRD on social media for event notifications. Helping Hale and Aloysa realize the full potential of their research does not only benefit them and their startup, because when research results are communicated to the target end users, this will lead to the proper utilization of research results towards better clinical care, formulation of health policies, access to research-based products in the market, and promotion of health programs, among others. Because after all, the foremost purpose of health research is to generate knowledge that will be useful in improving the quality of life of the Filipino people.